Hello, hello. Hello, hello. How is everyone? Got a couple of minutes before we're going to kick this thing off, so I am just going to hang out and you guys can just watch me look around. All right. Well, it is an exciting day today. We've got, it's actually my daughter's birthday today. So she is officially a teenager, which is terrifying. There you go. All right. Susan and Andy. Perfect. It has warmed up today since I last gave everyone the temperature update. It now feels, it's 12 degrees. It feels like 1 degree. So still not great outside. I've got some friends down in Orlando and they try to make me jealous. Issues getting in, huh? No. So, Andy, you can hear me, correct? Perfect. All right. Hey, JJ. Hello. Andrew just reminded me that's probably a good point. We should point out that you can say hello and I'll post questions in the chat. So we're just going to give this about till a couple more minutes. There's some people having some issues getting on, but we'll get started here shortly. In the meantime, I guess I can regale you guys with who I am and what we're all doing here today. So this is the first of an anticipated few meetings. We're in this one specifically today, we're looking at AI and its ability or its uses in the crafting of content to put out for your audience. A lot of people obviously struggle with what to post, when to post, all of those type of questions. And so what we've kind of put together as a team here at the CMO is to kind of look at actual ways that real businesses in the real world can use AI to help their business grow. All right. All right. So I would say maybe in the interest of time, we'll get started. Hopefully people can hop on in a bit. But so I'm going to start sharing my screen and we'll start going kind of through the presentation. And again, any questions, please feel free to send them to chat. I'm happy to kind of engage, answer any questions that you kind of have on the fly. Usually when I do these in person, it's very much of a conversation back and forth. So unfortunately, can't do that on a YouTube live, but we'll do our best through the comment section. So the premise here is if you're not already using AI in business, you're already behind. And I know it's a bold statement to make. Really, I mean, as far as people's comprehension of AI and how it's being used, largely ChatGPT has really only been on the scene for about 2 years. In fact, it was only 2 years ago I was at the Comedy Cellar, I think it's what it's called, in Manhattan, and a buddy of mine who's from Boston was talking to me and said, "Have you heard of this thing called ChatGPT?" And I was like, "No, what is it?" And that was 2 years ago. And the advancements that we've made between now and then have been mind-blowing. It's and it's been the abilities you can make or do really just even with ChatGPT, but it's expanded into such a wide array of different options and tools. It really is incredible. So let's start by establishing what AI really is. If you're a sci-fi fan, you'll probably think of AI in the form of Skynet or Terminators, and they're all coming to destroy us. Other people just think it's not as clever as some present it to be. So let's talk about it. I like to explore AI in the terms of the idiot savant. And so what do I mean by that? It's a person. So an idiot savant apparently is a person, by Merriam-Webster dictionary, a person who is highly knowledgeable about one subject but knows little about anything else, which is a strange thing to say about AI because it is so incredible. But I've also found out that according to them, this is now an outdated and offensive term. And if you're not already offended, I'm sure that I will find something to offend you by the end of this presentation. So, idiot. Let's start there. A person affected with extreme intellectual disability. That comes from Merriam-Webster. This is also apparently outdated and offensive. But when I say this, I like to bring up this ChatGPT error. So the user asks, how many R's are in strawberry? There are two characters. There are two characters in the word, two R characters in the word strawberry. As you and I can see, there's really three. So this is kind of a famous case. It went viral a while back. And I should say, Susan, yes, please. Anybody that's on, if you can't hear me, hit me up in the comments. If you want to ask questions, please. I want this to be as much of a conversation back and forth as we possibly can make it. So yes, thank you, Susan. Anybody who wants to engage, please do so in the comments. I'll do my best to read them as I go. So yes, so it was 100% sure, as you can see, the word strawberry contains two R characters. Sometimes it's an idiot. On the other side, savant, which apparently is not offensive, so you can't dig me on that one, is one with detailed knowledge in some specialized fields. Now, what AI has really done is we've been able to craft it in such a way that people have been able to use it in so many different ways, from recognizing medical imagery to diagnosing cancer to recognizing images and creating an entire podcast based off an image. So it's really, really incredible. Now, the best way to work with AI and understanding that it's an idiot savant is the fact that it can do all of these things. The biggest technique for you is to learn prompts. AI is all about prompts. So think of it as the smartest 8-year-old you know. If you give it very precise directions and exactly what you want to see, it can do these amazing things. If you're kind of vague, leaving things up to interpretation, you'll get some pretty strange responses out of it. So, see, this is my my Squatch, Beautiful Mind Squatch, just to show he's got all these complex equations. He's a bit of a savant. So here we get to the point where I start telling you about why does this all matter to you as a business owner. I ran an agency for about 7 years, and one of the things I always ran into was people that came to me and said, what should I be posting about? Right? Everyone hears, oh, you should be posting online. You should be posting content on social media. The question was always, that's great, but what do I post? So what we're going to do, we're going to look at some tools today, and I'll tell you exactly kind of what they are, what they're very good at, and how this all comes together for you as an actual user of AI in your business. So let's start with ChatGPT. It's probably the most famous. I say ChatGPT in some of these discussions, I'm really referring to its parent company, OpenAI. OpenAI is ChatGPT is a product of OpenAI. OpenAI is making a bunch of different ones, and it also is largely invested in by Microsoft as well. So when you hear OpenAI or ChatGPT for this purpose, I'm going to use them interchangeably. So what's great about ChatGPT, and one of the first things that they did really early on was crafted a toolbox within ChatGPT itself. Now, this is under the Pro membership. The Pro membership is about $20 a month, probably the best $20 you're going to spend. Cheapest employee you'll ever have. And what you can do is with this toolbox is they're called custom GPTs. Now, what custom GPTs can do is somebody's already gone through, and remember, as we talked about that, the prompts, somebody's already gone through and crafted these prompts, engineered these prompts so that we, so they've crafted the prompts so that basically based on what you're looking to do, you can find a custom GPT that'll help narrow the focus of the ChatGPT engine to give you the best, most logical kind of output. From there, we've also got ChatGPT has what we refer to as APIs. In tech speak, that means that there's a code on the back end where that you can then integrate it with something else, another tool that you're using. A lot of people now are using it for chatbots. So you'll be able to create a ChatGPT based chatbot, but that's branded and integrated with your own website. So when somebody comes to the website, they ask questions, you can actually load up your company's data, all the data set, and then have the chatbot actually respond to you, respond based on the information you've given it about your company. Another thing that they've done is it's referred to as Dolly. I put a sheep because that's I think, probably the most famous Dahlia that I know, but it's DALL-E. Now, what this does, it's an incredible tool. It was one of the first of its kind, but it's not as groundbreaking anymore. There's a lot of other Imagen 3 on Gemini, which is Google's AI platform, does it, but it's text to image. So you can give it an incredibly precise imaging details, and it will come out with some incredibly lifelike examples of the graphics. And finally, OpenAI is rolling out what's referred to as Sora, Sora, and that is going to be effectively the same concept as Dolly, but it will be video, so text to video. And if you get a chance, go to the Sora website or go to OpenAI and then find the product Sora and look at some of the videos that they've made, and it's unbelievable. So, what does this all mean to you? As I said before, it's all about prompts. So I've pre-written a prompt, and I said, can you please create a schedule including suggested dates and times for social media content for the month of December for a plumber working in Orlando, Florida. I would like it in a chart form, with the first column being the tagline for the post graphics, so we're going to build a graphic, and then this is going to be inside the graphic. The second being the post description, so what we put in the post. And the third being any relevant hashtags to add to it. Please make it optimized for Facebook and Instagram. Now, the reason I said Facebook and Instagram is because that is, if you're trying to target somebody who's residential, B2C kind of business, Facebook and Instagram are the best platforms for you. It's going to have the most longevity. Plus, Meta is incredibly cheap to boost a post and actually get more traction. So, what did I get from this prompt? This is your monthly calendar of content. It'll show you basically times on the left, so the dates and times, and then it's giving you your tagline. So fix that leak before the holidays, holiday plumbing tips, emergency plumbers available 24/7, gift yourself a new water heater. This post description here, upgrade your home with energy efficient water heater this season, calls for a consultation. And then here we go, all of the relevant hashtags, which is amazing because sometimes it's like, oh, well, I don't know what to post, but then also, what are some of the hashtags, right? It's done all the research for you. It's kind of put them all there. So now all you have to do is kind of work through, build the graphic, schedule the post, and put in the hashtags, and you're good. It'll even tell you when to do it. So now we get to another chat engine, similar to ChatGPT. And in fact, Perplexity is actually built on a ChatGPT API. Remember, as I said, the API takes it, you can have it integrated into kind of your own thing and build it. So Perplexity did that with the OpenAI's API for ChatGPT. The difference being is one of them has a small tendency to lie. Now, this is actually a famous case. It happened probably a couple of years ago, and it's probably gotten better since then. But the thing is like anything on the internet, you have to verify. This lawyer, went to court, made an argument, and based his argument on case law that ChatGPT offered him. Now, ChatGPT, at least when it first came out, just wanted to make people happy, right? So if it would give you answers that it felt like you wanted, as opposed to what was factual. And so much of everything is anyways these days. But one thing to keep in mind. So where does Perplexity come into the mix? So most of the information that it pulls from are journals and other citable sources. So in the case if you're asking medically related questions, it'll actually pull from medical journals, which is awesome. So I asked the question, again, prompt engineering. My client runs a biosecurity company, and I want a social media piece that talks about the positive impact of ozone microbubbles in water to kill pathogens and bacteria. Give me a tagline for the graphic and a description for the post with cited sources. Please and thank you. I don't know if you've noticed, I've got a Canadian flag over here. So if you notice that I've been saying please and thank you, it's not my fault. It's due to my Canadianism. Although you should always be nice to it, because at some point it is going to become sentient and it'll remember who was nice and who wasn't. So this is what Perplexity pops out. So we have our tagline here. So it gives us our answer that we were looking for. So we got our tagline: ozone microbubbles, nature's tiny warriors against waterborne threats. Perfect. Description. It's got our description that we're going to put into our post. And look at this. I've already put the little arrows here, but it will actually show you where it's pulling this information from. And you can see here, you can say, I want to see on this site all 8 sources. And so if I want to do the due diligence before I start pushing stuff out via, on behalf of my client, I can go through and I can look at this and say, yes, that checks out. That's a reputable source. It's not, I'm just taking it at its word. Excuse me. All right. So one AI platform, I think, which is totally underrated. And if you're on a Windows PC, you may have noticed this little symbol on your taskbar already. It's Copilot, owned by Microsoft. So as I said, Microsoft invested billions into OpenAI. And so now they've integrated, again, an API into their own kind of homegrown chatbot, which is Copilot. Copilot there's a pro version and there's the regular kind of version that you just get free with your PC. I wouldn't suggest paying for it. If you're going to pay for anything, pay for ChatGPT. Even Perplexity is free. You don't need a pro membership. And then I use the free one. So what do I use Copilot for? Well, as we talked about before, there's the ability to create images. And I've used a few different ones, and I've found that Copilot usually, for what I need, gets it generally kind of right. And given the branding of my company, the CMO, which is the Chief Mythical Officer, I feature a Sasquatch in a lot of what we do. And I don't know if you know this, but there's not a lot of stock photos of Sasquatches out there to be found. And I haven't really found any to take pictures of with my cell phone anyway. So I found myself prompting AI to create me a lot of images with Sasquatches. This came to me because I was thinking, when I was putting this presentation together, I said, I need a Sasquatch, but I am myself not an artist. I can't draw, both, pen and paper. I can't draw on a computer. So what I wanted I wanted an artist, but also a Sasquatch. So Leonardo da Vinci being a famous artist, I said, what if we combine the two? So can you please create me a hyper-realistic image of a Sasquatch that is dressed like Leonardo da Vinci? And this was the first thing it came up with. I personally think it's amazing. It kind of got all the prompts right. We've got this kind of beautiful kind of wooden background that would, invokes the environment that Squatch lives in. But we've also got, a little replica of the Mona Lisa over here, right? And he's got his little painter's jacket on, his little paintbrush. So it's, I think it was perfect, exactly what I was looking for. But this by itself really doesn't do anything for us, right? So we have the image, but it's not going to really do anything for us. So now I said, in the same Copilot, I said, now can you write me a post for social media that ties this image in with marketing consulting, right? I had an idea for an image, but now I needed basically to justify why I came up with the image. And here's what I came up with. Based on that, all I did was that first prompt, the image. That's all I gave it, and it came up with this for my social media post. Marketing magistry meets mythical creativity. Behold our very own marketing genius. Just like this legendary fusion of history and myth, at CMO Go, we blend timeless marketing wisdom with innovative strategies to help your brand stand out. Right, and I won't read the rest of it, but it even gave me hashtags. Perfect. So now I have an image and I have the text to go along with the image. Awesome. But we're going to take it one step further. And I'm going to introduce you to one of the really almost incredibly powerful AI tool that isn't being really talked about in the same vein as ChatGPT. But I got to say, I think it's almost just as important. Especially if you're not a graphic designer, you're a small business. I used to employ graphic designers to just do the work for me. But now that I'm in a consulting role, when I need something like this, I want to be able to do it myself. So let's see what we can do with Canva. Sorry. Canva's got this great image AI built into it. It can generate images. I haven't found it's the best, but what it can do is help you edit images. So let's look at what we can do. We can background remove. So what you do is you upload the image. You say it's the button called BG Remover, and the AI will find what the focal point of it is and remove it for you. And it's really good because if you look here, it's got all these fine details of hair. It didn't just do a broad, kind of all around and then just drop the background out and still have a bunch of rounded stuff. It was intricate enough to see the hairs. We can also do what's referred to as magic grab. So let's say I did this and I was like, you know what? I like the background, but I'm not a fan of the Sasquatch in the front. I want to maybe change it. You can do what's referred to as a magic grab, and all it is a click. So what it does effectively in reverse is to remove the foreground. But the cool thing about it is the AI will actually, whatever you've moved, will then fill in the space. So you don't end up with this Sasquatch-shaped white blob in the middle of your picture. It'll use AI to fill in the image behind it. So a one-layered image now becomes a multi-layered image. We can even do things like magic erase. And it might be actually hard to figure out what is actually missing in this because it's so seamless. And if you notice, it's actually his necklace that was removed. But what you're able to do is all I did is I take a brush and I brushed, and it wasn't even good. I just quick dash, highlighted it with it. And I said magic erase. And what it did was just remove that, but then again, backfill it using AI to add in the actual fur that was obviously missing. And then we've also got this magic expand. So the one that I originally brought through was a square. Now this is not perfect by any means. There's still a little bit left to, there's a little bit left to desire, but for the most part, in these cases where you may just have a square image, and you want to blow it up to a different sized, maybe you want to go from a 1080 by 1080 to a 1920 by 1080. So, the first one was 1080 by 1080. Those are the pixel density. So 1080, 180 pixels across, 180 pixels down. This now becomes 1,920 pixels across and 1080 down. So what we can do is, we can expand on that. And, it took, there's a couple, I won't lie, it took a couple of times, sometimes you'll get weird ghosting effects in here. I chose this one because it, kind of followed the ridge line of the trees a little bit and just kind of, it didn't look too bad. But it's there. It's not 100% yet. Excuse me. So this is what I came up with. So what I was able to come up with is, now that we had the image, all of this I did in Canva. So I came up with this: CMO to go is where marketing and magic merge. Came up with the tagline. And so when we were talking about taglines for the image, this is kind of what I meant. But what I was able to do is, again, use the Canva tools to detach the squatch from here, take them over to the side, flip them, and then be able to, now we've got this kind of multi-layered image, is take the text and actually put it so it looks like it's on the background, but also he's in the foreground as well, right? Again, not a graphic designer. These are all tools that are kind of button clicks inside of Canva. So taking a step back, remember our plumber in Orlando, and we're talking about a hot water heater. So again, as I say, I took the tagline it gave us: gift yourself a water heater. I went into Copilot, again, because I found that there's a lot of image generators. I've just enjoyed working with Copilot. And I said, give me a water heater wrapped in Christmas paper under the Christmas tree, a hyper realistic one. Boom. This is the first thing it popped out. Perfect. So come back into Canva, add this, drop a couple of little graphics in, put the text in. Canva's great. They have template options for you. So even if you don't want to mess around with your own kind of custom image decorations, you just pull up a template and then just kind of drop images in and type in your text that you want. It's perfect. Drop your logo in, and you're good to go. As well as as we were talking about before, the biosecurity. So I put together one of those for them. So the ozone microbubbles, nature's tiny warriors against waterborne threats. So what I did was I took that kind of concept that Perplexity gave me based on what I was, and I said, gave it the prompt of, I want these tiny microbubbles acting as warriors in water, to something that's to that extent. And this is what Copilot sent back to me as its image that it generated automatically for me. So perfect. Took that. I already had the tagline, put the tagline in the post. As you can see, I really didn't even have to manipulate the image too much on the last two. I just took it, put the text in, dropped in the logo, and we're good to go. But again, this is something that it did within seconds. And it was based on prompts that I had already gotten from the AI tools that I was using elsewhere. Now, I couldn't have designed something like this myself. And, it would have even been hard to ask an actual graphic designer to do, even if they could do it. The complexity and the details in this are such that it would take hours, if not a couple of days, for them to do it. And so it's really incredible what AI can do in a generative kind of capacity for creating content for you. It's just, understanding which tools are available and how to kind of use them all together to really kind of put this stuff out, and then bring all of that, because one tool by itself is great, but using them in this capacity to be able to create all of this content, where you don't need to be a pro, you don't need to hire a graphic designer. These tools are available for you, as long as you kind of understanding the prompts, you understand how to use them and how to integrate them together to be able to use it. It's really incredible what you can do. So with that, I want to thank everyone for taking the time. I didn't want to run over too late. I wanted to give you as much time back in your day as I could. I know, and I really do appreciate all of those that kind of stopped out to view it. And I would say that, as I say, when we're usually doing these in person, we usually run. This is kind of the first one we've done kind of virtually. We usually do these in person, and we'll actually sit down on an individual basis and work through on your, throughout your company. How do we take these actual concepts and apply them to your company specifically? Yes, we can, Susan. Thank you. And I would just ask, if you can, just right now, if you can put all of your emails in the chat. That way we can collect those. And then Susan was asking if we can send out a reference sheet covering the facts and links and costs of what was covered. Yes, we can do that. If you want to put your email in the chat, we'll put together that information for you and send that out. As far as where the future is going, AI is just becoming more and more ingrained in everything that we do. And so one of the next series that we wanted to do is one of the next things that we'd like to do going forward is, in the next kind of lesson, is talk about how AI can help you rank on Google. Now, I say Google kind of like how I said OpenAI is kind of a catch-all, but really, as AI becomes more and more prevalent, it's pulling from a lot of different sources rather than just Google. So we'll talk about how the best methods for you to be to get found on both traditionally via Google, but also look at what it takes to get, when you were looking at Perplexity and it was referencing
optimizing your online presence
all of the
search engines.
Sorry, my tablet picked up the fact that I was saying Google. It's listening to me. I would sorry, where was it? So showing up on Google, but also as well as how do we show up on search engines like ChatGPT, Perplexity. In the meantime, if you want to get in touch, you want to chat, please, I'm going to put my email in the chat. And I would love it's dave@cmo2go.io. Any questions, anything that piqued your interest, you want to know more about, even if it's just something kind of specific to you and what AI platforms are out there and how we can help, just hit me up. I'm here. Love talking about it. And I'll look forward to seeing everybody at the next one to see how AI can help you create content that is going to rank for you. And with that, I'll just kind of open it up for questions to say, if there is any questions lingering out there, you want to pop them in the chat. We'll hang out for a couple minutes and see if we can answer any questions for you. Perfect. All right. Well, hey, I thank you so much to everybody who attended. It was great. This was the first time we've done one of these. As I say, usually do them in person, so it's great to be able to do it kind of virtually. But I love having conversations about this. So, yes, this is recorded, so it will be on our page for going forward. So if you ever want to come back and view it, it's going to be on our YouTube channel. So thank you again, Susan. She's keeping me in line. All right. Well, thank you so much to everyone. I do appreciate it. And again, if you need anything, please reach out. Dave@cmo2go.io. Thank you so much.